Maybelle in the Soup, Chapter 5. A Bug on a Rug. Maybelle had never seen such a sight. Not tiny crumbs and dried spills, but great globs of tasty leftovers. Nothing was on a plate. Still, it was almost exactly what she wanted. Maybelle dropped from the chandelier to the rug and rushed about trying everything. A chunk of blue cheese on a slimy lettuce leaf, a gooey lump of chopped goose liver, a smear of sweet butter with a shoe print in it. Near the sideboard, where Mrs. Peabody had put her special dessert, Maybelle found the best thing of all. Whipped cream. One teeny taste, and she forgot herself entirely. She plunged in all the way up to her second set of legs. She couldn't see Ramona crouched over her. She couldn't hear Henry shout from the cat's right ear, "Look out, Maybelle!" Whack! Ramona's paw shot out and gave Maybelle a hard knock that sent her skidding across the rug. Whack! Ramona sent her spinning in the other direction. Maybelle was so frightened that she could only flutter wildly. Ramona batted her one way and then the other. "Run home! Run home!" Henry shouted. With Ramona so close behind, Maybelle ran as fast as her 6 legs could carry her. She scrambled across the dining room and through the kitchen. She fled to the safety of her home. But she'd eaten too much. No matter how she struggled, she couldn't squeeze her belly through the narrow crack under the refrigerator. Maybelle's desperate bottom stuck out into the kitchen. Ramona grabbed it and pulled. Maybelle fainted. Here is Ramona whacking Maybelle. And then there is Ramona picking up Maybelle. Uh-oh. Okay, Chapter 6. A Surprise for Mrs. Peabody. It was just as well that Maybelle didn't know where she was. Ramona carried the stunned bug in her sharp white teeth up the stairs and down the hall to the Peabody's bedroom. A plump cockroach makes a fine gift. In the bedroom, Mrs. Peabody was sitting up in bed with an ice pack on her head, weeping into a handkerchief. "My lovely dinner party spoiled by a revolting cockroach," she sobbed. Mr. Peabody patted her arm. "Now, my dear, you mustn't upset yourself. Look who has come to cheer you up." Ramona stood proudly at the door with something in her mouth. "Oh, Mama's angel, Mama's little comfort. Come to me, precious," Mrs. Peabody cried. Ramona leaped up on the coverlet, put Maybelle down on her mistress's lap, and waited to hear what a very clever cat she was. Meanwhile, Maybelle was waking from her faint. She lay on her back with her eyes squeezed shut and began gently waving her legs in the air to see if she was dead. Mrs. Peabody didn't have on her glasses. She leaned close to Maybelle. "What has my angel brought, Mama?" She squinted and leaned closer, her nose almost touching Maybelle. Maybelle waved her legs, and Mrs. Peabody saw. She began to scream. Maybelle and Ramona both sailed through the air as Mrs. Peabody leaped from the bed. "Roaches everywhere! Do something, Herbert!" She clutched her nightgown around her and scrambled on top of the dressing table. Maybelle froze on the rug at the foot of the bed, too frightened to move. Mr. Peabody began throwing things at her. Hairbrushes, pictures, and books rained down. "Oh, for heaven's sake, just step on the thing, Herbert," Mrs. Peabody said sternly from the dressing table. Mr. Peabody lifted his big foot high over Maybelle. She'd broken the 3rd rule. She was about to meet with human feet in a most unfortunate way. She was going to be squashed. Instead, she heard Mr. Peabody shout, "Ouch! I've been bitten! We have fleas, too!" He was so busy scratching his ankle that Maybelle had time to scramble under the bed. "This will not do," Mr. Peabody bellowed. "We'll call the bug man first thing in the morning." Okay, and there's Mrs. Peabody on her bed. Oops, sorry. And shoe squish.